Greetings and welcome to this edition of
Positronic.
I'm Barry P. Cook. Let's talk about the season 2 premiere of Superman and Lois. It was called What Lies Beneath. And it starts off right where season 1 left off, which is with John's daughter, John Steele's daughter, arriving in a pod from her Earth after, I guess, having been somewhere in the space-time continuum, universal, multiverse space or something all this time. And she has just mistaken Clark's Lois for her mother. And John has to explain to her that, no, that's not your mom. And, you know, it looks like your mom, but it's not. And he kind of takes her off and starts the process of acclimating her to her new situation. Meanwhile, Lana's daughter, who was dating Jordan, returns home from camp, where I guess she had been, and is greeted by her parents just after they seem to notice that the town is capitalizing on the fact that Superman is from there, which her father dislikes, but which Lana thinks is okay if it helps the town financially. Lois, meanwhile, seems to be in a bit of a snit since John's daughter has arrived. It isn't long before Clark hears a North Korean submarine in distress and flies off to help them as Superman, but encounters some kind of problem where he seems to have his senses overloaded, or he seems to have some kind of massive headache, or maybe a vision. Something's going on. And it causes him to fall right out of the sky into the ocean, but he recovers and saves the submarine, which pisses off General Lane's replacement at the DOD, because he thinks that Superman should not have just returned the sub to the North Koreans, because it would have been valuable for the US to have it for strategic purposes or whatever. But Superman basically tells him, well, tough poopy, I'm not an American asset. I'm an asset to the world at large. So they have a discussion about that. Lois calls Clark home during this to talk about how she caught Jonathan half naked on his bed with his girlfriend after Clark left to rescue the sub, leaving them alone. And she blows it a little bit out of proportion, which Clark pushes back against, causing them to bark at each other, and then they both go off in a huff in, different directions. Jordan takes his girlfriend to a romantic lakeside spot where I guess they got arrested, but he's got it all lit up with a bunch of candles, using his heat vision while she's blindfolded. But she seems a little bit uninterested in romance, in hugging or whatever, and it was kind of odd. Then we cut over to Mr. Lana, whose name I forgot, and we see that he's frustrated that Lana is spending so much time working on a political campaign, but he tells Clark about it indirectly by sort of making some off-the-cuff remarks, as opposed to telling Lana, that he's feeling badly. Just like Lois is upset about something but won't tell Clark. So we as the audience know what it is, but she hasn't told Clark. And Lana and Clark kind of commiserate over their shared problem a moment later, where they both talk about how, I think they're keeping something from me, be it the husband or Lois. And it seemed kind of romantical. Like, Lana says something like, I don't know, that seemed almost like, hey, what the hell with them? Why don't we get together? Like, not sexual, but it was like, I don't know, it seemed inappropriate to me. Lois comes clean about what's bugging her shortly thereafter, and it turns out that she feels guilty about not having any emotional connection or feeling for John's daughter, even though she knows that in the other world, her counterpart was her mother, because this reminds her of how she was abandoned by her own mother, who seemingly had no feelings for her. And I guess that makes sense, but she's not actually her mother. So you're not gonna have an emotional connection. So why would you feel guilty for that? I don't know. I like the show, but this whole thing, I don't know. It seems a little weird. But anyway, an earthquake then hits, and Superman saves some folks from a falling water tower and a falling dump truck, which had become airborne, or which fell off a cliff that dissolved, I forget which. And he goes to save some people trapped in a mine, only to suffer another one of those headache attacks or whatever that is. But when he's coming out of it, he also finds a pair of Kryptonian-powered beings already there, saving people. And he then goes and asks the general, what the hell? And is basically told that the general needs powered beings loyal to the US, and it's just too bad if Soups doesn't like it. So the general, along with the military, have given Kryptonian abilities to these soldiers, I guess. And now they're going around in super suits with the crest of the House of L on them, doing Superman stuff at the direction of the United States military, which of course Superman does not like. We then see Lois having a heart-to-heart with Natalie, who is John's daughter, and they seem to connect. And John decides to accept an invitation to stay with the Kents until he decides whether he's going to stay in Smallville with Natalie. Right before the very end of the episode, someone in what seemed to be like a metal suit flies down through the earth under the mine from before and breaks through a wall. And you kind of see their gloved hand. It looks like a metal hand or whatever, or gloved metal hand, or a metal gloved hand. And we're thinking, you know, this is Doomsday, I guess. As a collective audience, that's the rumor, that it's Doomsday. So we'll have to see, because that's where the episode ended. This episode was okay. I'm wondering what's brewing with Jordan's girlfriend. My guess is that she hooked up with somebody at camp, or she didn't hook up with anybody, but she developed feelings for somebody, and so now she's not clear on how she feels about Jordan. One of those two things, and it's clouded her feelings towards Jordan, and I think she's afraid to tell him, so she's kind of playing it aloof. I think that's unfortunate. I don't know why they're doing that, at least this early in their relationship. You'd think it would be something that comes up later, but we'll have to see exactly what that is. The other thing about it is it's kind of tropey. You know, like it's the kind of thing they do. Oh, she fell for someone else. Like it's been done. So I don't know. As I've said before in my reviews last season, my least favorite aspect of this show is the family drama part. And it's unfortunate because it's something that makes the show unique. Superman as a family man, as opposed to just a husband, you know, to Lois. But they spend, in my estimation, too much time on the events in the individual lives of his kids. Like catching the one kid in bed is one thing, but like showcasing the relationship situation between Jordan and the girlfriend, a la Dawson's Creek, is like, why? Why are we doing that? It's the same thing with Lana's family. You know, well, she's Lana's family, but Lana and the husband. It's like they're characters on the show, and we're seeing the nitty gritty of their relationship. And why is that in a Superman show? I don't. It's almost like this show is Desperate Housewives or Melrose Place with Superman. Like, I don't want to dog the show because it's good, but at the same time, it's because the stuff they're writing for those situations is good stuff. But like, why is it in the Superman show? I want to see him punching bad guys and flying around and raising submarines out of the water and stuff. I don't need to see Lana and Mr. Lana having marital issues. Like, I don't care. Like, why is that part of the show? Anyway. Oh, and I continue to hate 5 o'clock shadow Superman. It's why? Why does Superman have a 5 o'clock shadow? Why? Because they want Clark to have one, and then you have to explain why Superman shaves. But that's there anyway. Why doesn't he have a full-grown beard? He shaves. It's something like, what? I don't understand this 5 o'clock shadow Superman thing. Don't like it. Hate it. Wish they'd stop doing it. I also continue to think, and this is terribly misogynistic of me to say, but I also continue to think that Lois is an absolute uggo, especially compared to Lana. Like, Lana is hot sauce. And Lois to me is like borscht. cold potato soup. Like, whereas Lana is. So I don't get that at all, but okay. Anyway, that's all I have to say. I'll be back with a review of the next episode next week. Until then, I wish you all peace and long life.